Code monkey get up, get coffee. Code monkey go to job. Code monkey have boring meeting with boring manager Rob. Rob say code monkey very diligent, but his output stink. His code not functional or elegant. What do code monkey think? Code monkey think maybe manager wanna write login page himself. Code monkey not say it out loud. Code monkey not crazy, just proud. Code monkey like Fritos. Code monkey like Tal and Mountain Dew. Code monkey very simple man. Big warm fuzzy secret heart. Code monkey like you. Code monkey like you.
What's new, Dino dudes? It's me, the Raptor, and welcome back to another episode of Reaction and Review with the Raptor. I'm just gonna tell you now if I'm sounding weird. I think I have a cold, so yeah, I'm gonna sound a little weird this whole review, but whatever. So, we're gonna watch something tonight that I honestly have like next to no experience with, but I think should be entertaining nonetheless. When did it come out? Shoot, I'm bad at this. Why do they never make it clear where these movies came out? Okay, there. We're taking a look at a 2018 anime movie. We're taking a look at Dragon Ball Super Broly, the movie. Or is it the movie Dragon Ball Super Broly? Seriously, that's how they wrote it on the title? Like, I'm just gonna call it Dragon Ball Super Broly or Dragon Ball Broly or just Broly throughout this review, so whatever. At this point, you're probably expecting me to go, yeah, I have a lot of experience with Dragon Ball. I really enjoy the manga and I love the anime. That ain't the case. I can count on one hand the amount of episodes I've seen of Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Super, Dragon Ball Z. In fact, most of them, well, 2 of them out of like the 4 I've seen were actually Dragon Ball GT, which I watched on a Game Boy. Yeah, back when I was younger, I actually had one of those Game Boy video cartridges of Dragon Ball GT. And Pokemon and Sonic X. Those things were awesome. But yeah, I don't remember really much about it. I don't remember if I enjoyed it or not. All I know is Dragon Ball, from what I've seen and what I've read, and I've been taking a bit of a crash course recently in Dragon Ball lore and all that. So I have seen a lot of Dragon Ball Z now. I probably should have mentioned that. But in terms of before all that happened, I haven't seen very much about this. What I have seen, I do remember enjoying. I watched about 15 minutes of Resurrection F. And then I was watching it at Fan Expo. We had to leave for some reason, and yeah, we didn't get to see the whole movie. Man, my voice just sounds weird listening to it out loud like this. Ah, well. So, this is the newest movie. I know I've read the first volume of Dragon Ball Super. I remember that. So, if I'm questioning things or I'm talking like, hey, why is this happening? Or who's this guy? Just take it easy on me, okay? Just leave a comment down below and explain to me where I'm horribly, horribly wrong. Overall, I do have some high expectations for this movie. Well, not high, but I do have expectations for it to be fun. At least fun and action-packed. Because I know Dragon Ball is good for that. But, yeah. Oh, excuse me. Only one way to find out. So what say I stop talking and we get to watching Dragon Ball Super Broly. Okay, so I can say this so far. As somebody who doesn't have the most knowledge of Dragon Ball, like of this franchise, these first 5 minutes have actually done a lot to essentially explain, well, a lot of backstory that I was just kind of questioning, wait, what exactly is going on? It really did help. And so far, it's really good. I'm just curious where it's going to go from here. Okay, so, Saiyan kids are kind of huge assholes. Like, wow. I know it's Raditz and Vegeta who are kind of like supposed to be like complete a-holes, but dude. Ah well, the animation's amazing. Oh, now we're just getting a montage of like everything Dragon Ball leading up to now, I guess. Yeah, we're present day now. Alright. Well, I'm certainly not bored, I can give it that. So, I'm gonna be honest, the main thing I have, like the main exposure I've had to Dragon Ball was Dragon Ball Abridged. These voices are so much different. Yeah, like the main exposure I've had to Dragon Ball, aside from the few episodes I've seen, was Dragon Ball Abridged, so... You know, the voices sound relatively similar, but at the same time they do sound distinctly enough. It's kind of weird. Okay. That is the greatest motivation for any villain I have ever seen in any movie, period. I dare not spoil it, but that is fantastic. I love that. That is literally the greatest motivation for any villain's plan, any villain's goal I have seen in fiction. I love this. So something I'm always told about Dragon Ball is how great their fight scenes are. How they're action-packed, really fast, and beautifully animated. They're not wrong. This is a really interesting action sequence. It's just fun watching two dudes fly around beating the living daylights out of each other. Still, regardless, it's entertaining. It's very well done. So I just learned something. If I ever want to go Super Saiyan or some sort of super form, I don't need to train, Whoa, that looks awesome! Okay. That just looks awesome! Okay, sorry, what I was saying, I don't need to train, I don't need discipline, I don't need focus, I don't need to be at peace with myself. I just need to kill somebody. Or I need somebody to kill someone I care for. Or I need to kill somebody I care for and then trick myself into believing it was somebody else. Man, I have some weird thoughts while I watch movies. But you know what? This is awesome! Like, if this is what Dragon Ball Super is, I'm actually kind of mad I haven't been watching it up until now. So, that was Dragon Ball Super Broly. That was really good. Hey, let me just stop the movie and I'll talk about it. Okay, so, like I said, I don't have much experience with the Dragon Ball franchise. Seen a few episodes at best, seen a decent amount of, well, a few episodes of Super, a few episodes of Z, I've seen a good amount of that. Mainly just the first two seasons though, so not too much. I've seen a little bit of GT on a Game Boy years ago, forgot everything about it, and apparently that is the one series nobody likes, so I'll just ignore it. Have not seen anything from Dragon Ball, actually, and I haven't seen Dragon Ball Evolution. If you guys want me to watch Dragon Ball Evolution, leave a comment down below and, well, I might have to review it. So this was my first real experience with kind of sitting down and going, okay, let's just watch Dragon Ball. Because all the other times I've watched it, it's kind of been in the background or I haven't really been paying attention. So, what I was kind of wondering about is this going to be a movie for the fans or for all fans? What I mean by that is I've seen a few movies that kind of go, look, if you haven't seen our stuff previously, you're going to be completely lost on what's going on. That was kind of what happened with Deadpool 2. Endgame is pretty much that. I'll do a review on that very soon. But there are movies that are based off properties or based off a TV show that kind of make it so you can easily jump back in and keep watching, or you kind of would have to essentially watch the entire thing and then watch this in order to understand anything. Thankfully, Dragon Ball Super Broly takes the time to quickly go, okay, a few things you should know. Here's some history, here's some character stuff. Now you know everything you need to know. Let's fight. So I certainly didn't feel lost. I don't remember exactly what all the different forms were called. Excuse me, I'm still getting over a cold, I think. So Super Saiyan 2. But when I got to the red ones, I wasn't sure if that was Super Saiyan 4 or which one was Super Saiyan God. Because I know, I'm pretty sure the blue was Super Saiyan 4 and the red was Super Saiyan God. I think. I could be wrong. If I am, let me know down below. And once again, this is something I'm getting into, so I'm sorry if I make any mispronunciations or if I completely mess things up. So yeah, I've been kind of talking about the writing here, about the context around the movie. How about the movie itself? Well, the writing is really good. It's not like revolutionary, it's not like the greatest writing I've ever seen, but it wasn't trying to be. Especially for a franchise that is so heavily based on just dudes fighting each other, it had a pretty solid story. The characters were all really enjoyable, even the bad guys. Frieza, like I mentioned, has one of the greatest motivations in any film ever. Excuse me. Goku and Vegeta, they're incredibly likable, they're just fun to watch. You know, Vegeta's kind of a jerk, but at the same time, that's his character, and he is still likable. They walk the line very well between him being unlikable and likable in terms of characteristics. Broly was not the character I was expecting. And I'm going to have to be very careful not to spoil much, but there was quite a few things that happened in this movie that surprised me about his character, namely with his backstory and all that. Now, I was kind of surprised that a lot of characters like Gohan, Goten, Chi-Chi, Trunks, Roshi, Mr. Satan, like all these other characters who are very well established in the show and other films, either didn't or barely showed up in this movie. Now, I get it. This is not a movie meant to be like with Resurrection F when all the characters came together, or Battle of Gods when like all the characters were there and all that. This is very much a story about Broly. And it takes place after the events of Super, so thankfully I didn't need to watch all of Super in order to understand what was happening in here, like I said earlier. Well, it would have been nice to maybe see a few of them here or there, even if it was just the brief cameos like we got. What is here is still very good. The movie is a bit clunky, though. A few times in the middle of a very high-paced action scene, they'll suddenly cut to two people talking for like 10 to 15 seconds. And I'm not sure if Dragon Ball does this all the time, but it certainly does kind of kill some of the action vibe, because it sort of drags it out for like a few seconds and kind of leaves you a bit disoriented. However, like I said, it is only for a few seconds, so it's not the worst thing in the world. Overall, the writing is very well done. I believe if I was like a huge Dragon Ball fan, there would be several points that I'm like, wait, what? I've never seen this happen before. But as it was, I was still like, wow, I have no idea what's going on, but also I do know what's going on. And this is really cool. Because, yeah, this is meant to be an action film, not a whole like huge story-driven adventure like the show would be, because it would have like a few seasons to try and explain itself, to develop the characters. This, they had just over 90 minutes. They had like, how long is this? Yeah, they had an hour and 40 minutes to go. Okay, here's our backstory, here's our characters, here's our fighting. We're mostly going to be fighting, but we want to make sure you actually do care about these characters before they start fighting. And especially for a film that was my main introduction to like the newer characters and stuff, they did a great job establishing these characters and making you care about them before it dove headfirst into the fighting. I was kind of nervous that it would kind of be like, look, you probably like Goku and Vegeta from the show, so we're just going to drop them in and have them fight without building anything else onto them. So, thankfully, the movie decided, you know what, let's give these characters characterization, let's give the bad guys characterization, like, and yes, I know this is characterization they've had in the show, but they were like, you know what, there might be new viewers, let's give them a reason to care before we get to the fighting. As for the actual plot itself, it's a fairly basic plot. It's not like the most, like, there aren't a lot of twists and turns. It's a very, honestly, a bit of a cliched plot in terms of the plot itself, not what they do with it. The idea of just, oh, like this forgotten warrior comes back to fight these new guys, like to fight the main characters. I've seen that in a lot of samurai movies. I've seen that in quite a few kung fu movies. But considering the fact that this is an anime movie, I'm totally willing to let that slide because they do so much with the fighting that it completely overtakes any real issue I had with the writing. Aside from the occasional, like, just odd interruption or stuff like that, like the interruptions into the fighting, I don't really have too many issues with the writing itself. It's not like Schindler's List or Forrest Gump levels of, like, memorability, but the writing isn't trying to be the most memorable part, everything else is. And they pretty much nailed it in every regard. So, the writing, if you're a fan of Dragon Ball, you're gonna love it. If you've never seen Dragon Ball before, you'll probably enjoy it. I've seen very little, but I did greatly enjoy this. I think part of what helped it, though, is the acting. I kinda committed a sin here. I chose to watch the English dub. Yes, I know. When you're watching anime, if you really want to be a weeb, you gotta watch the Japanese version with the English subtitles. I mainly chose to watch the dub, though, for one simple reason. Now I forget their names. The guys who play Goku and Vegeta, their names on the back? No, of course they're not. Sean Schmel and Ian Drummond, is it? No, that's not them. Look, the cast is great. The guys who play Goku and Vegeta, they've been playing them for years. They completely hit it out of the park with the perfect characterization of Goku's airheadedness but seriousness, Vegeta's egoism mixed with him actually being a caring person but refusing to show that, Frieza's sadisticness and just complete lack of empathy towards anyone but himself. All the actors in this are great. There was really not a single bad actor throughout the entire thing. In fact, there's two new characters, well, sort of new characters, I'm not sure if they've shown up before, on the Frieza Force, who we kind of follow as they interact with Broly. This also jumps back to the writing for a second. They were great. The acting was great, the characters themselves were written really well, and they had a very interesting arc to them. So yeah, the acting, I got no real issues with it. I do know there is sort of a whole thing going on with Vic Bengolia is his name? I think the guy who played Broly. I know there is kind of a controversy going around. I don't know what's going on. And frankly, I'm not going to go looking it up. If someone could leave a comment down below explaining it, that would be great, because I don't like getting into these controversies. I don't like diving into scandals. And I really don't like talking about them on this channel, because for me, the whole point of the Media Raptor and the Media Raptor reviews is to entertain people. To make them smile. To let them know, hey, this is a good movie. Not, hey, this is a good movie. Here's the controversy surrounding it. Yeah, I know if I wanted to make some quick money, I could probably make whole videos dedicated to the whole, kick Vic scandals and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I don't want to take a side, really. I prefer to just watch a movie as what it is. A movie. Now, yes, there are some films, and I'm sorry I'm going on a bit of a tangent here, there are some movies now, because of certain scandals recently concerning Me Too and things like that I will not review anymore. You can probably guess what those are, but there are some movies and stuff I'm just not going to review. I don't know the whole scandal concerning Vic Bengolia. I hope I'm saying that right. I really don't know it well enough to say, to have it damage my view on the movie, because the movie itself is really entertaining. So, but also let me say, if you feel like you don't want to watch it because of whatever has happened, don't let me try and force anything on you. I'm just trying to review a movie. I'm sorry if I'm coming across as arrogant or indifferent or anything like that. That is not my intention. So how about we talk about something great? Something phenomenal. The animation. Yes, I know one thing that anime has always done spectacularly is making the animation so stylistic and beautiful. In fact, probably my all-time favorite anime film, well, my two, Spirited Away and Redline, which I'm probably going to go watch Redline after I'm done here. I have not watched that thing in a while, and I've been meaning to. I love that movie. They all have unique styles. Dragon Ball has had a very unique style since it started 30 years ago. And this is beautiful animation. My favorite anime show is Tokyo Ghoul, and I've always loved the realistic and yet demonic mixture of humans and ghouls. Here, the fight scenes are the main draw of Dragon Ball, and the animation is spectacular. I know I said this in the reaction part, but every frame in the fighting here, almost every frame in the fights here, is a painting you could hang on a wall. There were a few things I noticed, such as character proportions kind of like distorting, such as like one scene where Goku's neck gets really long for just a few moments. And a few times his Broly's pupils go like from having an iris in them to completely white. I'm not sure if that was a stylistic choice to show like the absolute blinding fury he's in, and that's kind of what I've chosen to believe, but it is a little distracting. But the actual fights themselves are amazing. They are fast, they are fluent, they are beautifully animated, and while there is some janky animation concerning capes and stuff like that, that's more of a stylistic choice that Dragon Ball has been doing since its early iterations. In fact, if anything, it's kind of charming. The very sudden, like jump cuts, like they're not like fluid, but they're very like staticky, kind of like janky back and forth of capes and Frieza's tail in a very few shots. It's not overwhelming and it's not even that noticeable, but it is kind of fun because you can tell it's just sort of it's a style. It's almost a tribute to the older days of Dragon Ball when the animation was more janky. As for the fight itself, amazing. The coloring, the shading, everything is beautiful. Now, there was an odd choice partway through to suddenly incorporate CGI into this movie, for some reason. Look, I'm not against CGI in movies or in animated films, but when this whole film is 2D animated, then all of a sudden there are several explosions with CG. I think they were hoping people wouldn't notice, and I think most people might not notice, but it was very noticeable to me and kinda distracting. It didn't take me out of the film. In fact, this movie sucked me in once it got going and kept me in the entire time. So, it certainly isn't enough to denote any points from the movie, but I do have to give you a heads up. If you're watching this movie, especially on Blu-ray, it is kind of noticeable, but everything else completely covers up any issue you may have with that. The Kamehamehas, the Galick guns, the character designs, the transformations, it's awesome. Something else that helps with this is the music. I'm not sure if this is in the Japanese version or not, but there's this weird sort of song that goes like Broly go, Broly go, Broly go, 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 or something like that during the final fights. And it's catchy, but it's almost like a mixture of rock and techno that's also then mixed in with opera. I know that sounds crazy, but they do it and it works. Yeah, and as for the rest of the music, it's got a great opening theme. The ending theme, from what I could tell, was very beautiful. I'll have to listen to that later. And it's not like the greatest I've ever heard. Like, it's not like Tokyo Ghoul opening levels of fantastic or Oben Star Racers theme level amazing, but it certainly is great. It adds to the film, and really that's what I think it was trying to do. As for sound mixing, everything is completely clear, the levels are great. If you wonder why I bring this up, it's because I do film editing actually, so I know what it's like. I can actually hear when a scene is mixed poorly or when audio levels are off. And believe me, for the amount of screaming in this movie, it would have been really easy to just blare that and make it overpower everything else, but they got a fairly good mix of it. Because they had to mix the screaming, the transformation sound effects, the animation, and the music all together to try and form one, moving picture, and they certainly did a great job of it. So, at the end of the day, can I recommend Dragon Ball Super Broly? Yeah. I'm giving it a solid 3.5 Raptor Claws out of 4. I think I would have rated it higher if I had watched all of Dragon Ball Super, or if I just knew more about Dragon Ball. But you know what? For what it is still very entertaining. I am definitely going to watch this again. If you've never seen Dragon Ball before, this is a fine place to jump in. Honestly, you're not going to understand everything that happens, but at the same time, they do explain enough that you're not going to feel like you're completely shut out. At the end of the day, Dragon Ball Super Broly is what I hoped it would be. A fun, fast-paced, action-packed adventure with great characters, amazing fight scenes, and beautiful animation. It's not the greatest film I've ever seen, but at the same time, I'm still happy I have it on Blu-ray now. This is going to have a happy spot on my Blu-ray shelf, which I'm now trying to add more anime films to. So if you guys know any, leave them down in the comments and let me know, because I want to watch more films like this. It doesn't have to be Dragon Ball, but just, anime films in general that maybe aren't as well known. Let me know, I'll check them out and review them if I like them, or even if I don't. But yeah, I really feel an urge to go watch either more Dragon Ball, like go onto Crunchyroll, or even just go out, buy season 1 of Dragon Ball Super on Blu-ray, because like my local Sunrise is selling it for like $35 or $40. I might do that. Or I might just go watch Redline. Or maybe all. I don't know. Regardless, Dino Dudes, Dragon Ball Super Broly is a fast-paced, action-packed, awesome film with fantastic action scenes. It's everything I could hope for out of a Dragon Ball movie. That's my final thoughts. It's everything I could hope for out of a Dragon Ball movie, and then some. So, with that being said, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment down below what you'd like me to review next, or what you thought on this movie, or just any of the questions I asked. Yeah, subscribe so you'll know when more content is coming straight to you from me, the Media Raptor. And until next time, this has been the Media Raptor saying keep cool, and I will see all you Dino Dudes around. Later.